Hello and welcome to Beautifully Balanced. Health and happiness aren't found in a bottle of prescription pills or with any fad diet. Instead, we can activate your body's natural ability to heal itself. And that is exactly what we're going to do together here. I'm Sarah Teeple, a women's integrative health practitioner, and I blend the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda with the modern science of functional medicine to help you heal your gut, rebalance your hormones, and calm anxiety naturally. Here I'll teach you the smart, sustainable, personalized, and fun way to use nutrition, herbs, and healthy lifestyle to feel vibrant, energized, and beautiful inside and out. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Beautifully Balanced today. I am so excited to share this topic with you. This is like the secret sauce, the special little ingredient that I feel like is rarely spoken about in integrative medicine, certainly not in Western medicine, a little more so in holistic healing circles. But this today is all about creating a mindset for holistic healing. All healing begins in your mind with your thoughts. Yes, all physical, mental, and spiritual healing starts with your thoughts. So today we'll dive in to how most of us are actually harming ourselves with our thoughts, our judgments, our worries, our self-criticisms that we just accept as truths. We'll talk about where those negative thoughts come from, evolutionarily and spiritually. Hint, a lot of the spiritual aspect is all about fear. And most importantly, we'll talk about how we can shift our thoughts for a happier, more beautiful, and healthy life. So today I'm going to share with you my simple but powerful 6-step process, all about how to release long-held negative beliefs and thoughts that have been holding you back and keeping you stuck so that you can finally move forward vibrantly and evolve into that next amazing version of yourself that is just waiting to blossom. How many of us get caught up in negative thought loops about our bodies, right? Why they aren't good enough, they're not thin enough, pretty enough, they're not perky enough. I have nursed 2 children, so I know about perky and non-perky. Or, really though, I'm kind of showing some of my own insecurities here. We can each fill in the blank about our own personal flavor of self-sabotaging, kind of mean girl talk, right? It's sort of trash talking, judgmental, petty, but we often do it to ourselves all day, every day, and don't realize that this, number one, is not true, and number two, is totally optional. We can drop it. We can drop it, and I'm going to teach you how today. So I want to first talk about how this self-talk, this toxic inner monologue is not our fault. It's not your fault. So give yourself a hug right now and please don't let any self-judgments that are totally natural and normal, but not serving you, but don't let that self-criticism and that self-judgment be yet another thing to get down on yourself about, right? Like we're going to beat ourselves up for beating ourselves up. That is not helpful. Not helpful. Not at all what I'm suggesting here. This negative self-talk is conditioned into us by a society obsessed with youth and thinness, a society with just a legacy of oppressive patriarchy, right? Trying to fit in the little box so you can please the men in your life, if you're maybe hetero, cisgendered, but this kind of applies overall, no matter how you identify. Our toxic diet culture, again, kind of obsessed with thinness and the perfect food and optimizing everything. And that's basically driven by money and marketing. That plays into it as well. And even this negative self-talk is driven and perpetuated by our own brain's evolutionary programming to look out for danger. And that's going to be a big part of our focus today, because that's where we have the most opportunity for retraining our brain for learning and for empowerment. So that looking out for danger In our, time of evolving as human beings, that looking out for danger used to mean a real, like physical, death threatening or life threatening, death bringing danger of something like a lion chasing us across the savannah. So that was a really real threat. And it made our sympathetic nervous system or our nervous system launch into sympathetic reaction mode, also known as fight or flight, right? Our breath quickens and becomes less deep. Our digestion doesn't work as well because adrenaline and cortisol are just coursing through our system. So we're not thinking about, or, our bodies are not prioritizing digestion or hormone health or mental peace. That's not what our body wants when it thinks that we are in grave danger. So nowadays, that lion chasing us across the savannah is far, far less likely to happen. But there is still so much fear. There's still so much worry. Now it's kind of the fear or danger of judgment, of being shunned by our tribe. So that your tribe could mean your group of friends, could mean people at work or society at large, or even our own family of origin. Many of us have body image issues or self judgment thought loops that started in childhood. So, this negative self talk is really critical and it's ruthlessly persistent because of a mechanism or a phenomenon called the negativity bias. So, your brain, your neuroscience, is evolutionarily wired, to look out for the negative. But you can outsmart this negativity bias. All it takes is a little practice. Now, I love a neuropsychologist named Dr. Rick Hanson. He has an amazing book called Hardwiring Happiness that I swear it really got me through my divorce almost a decade ago now, and just a really hard time in my life. But he writes about this negativity bias and how to overcome it so brilliantly. He was one of the first to write about this like 15 or 20 years ago. But this quote to me sums it up. It gives you a really good visual. He says, our brain is wired to be like Velcro for the bad, as in it just clings on to the bad, and Teflon for the good. So Teflon, is that nonstick coating on pans that is actually toxic and a chemical called PFAS. So avoid Teflon in your cookware, people. But our brain's wired to be like Teflon for the good, meaning that something good, wonderful happens. Someone gives you a compliment and you just brush it right off. You don't even let it sink in. Something great happens in your life and you just kind of dismiss it and go on to the next worry or fear that you might have. So, because we know this, though, that the brain's wired to be like Velcro for the bad and Teflon for the good, we can be aware of that. We can know that that is just our funny old brain's tendency, and we can just expect some negative thoughts and feelings to come up in our day. So, this is kind of the first encouragement that I'm sharing with you. Expect some negative thoughts and feelings to come up in your day, but don't listen to them. Don't make them into a problem. What if those negative thoughts are one, not at all true, and two, not a big deal at all? So let's get really curious about that. So today we're going to outsmart that negativity bias. We're going to talk about transitioning from a fixed mindset, which is stressed and stuck, to a growth mindset, which is curious and evolving. So here are my 6 tips or 6 steps to shift your mindset now from that stuck, stressed mindset to curious and evolving so you can reach your next level of vibrance, of abundance, of love, of beauty, of loving your life. Here we go. So number 1 is know that the hard things don't mean something negative about you. So by the hard things, I mean lots of different things. The hard things in your life, that could be your negative self-talk. It could be the fact that you feel really disconnected from your body. It could be the fact that you're carrying around 100 pounds of extra weight, or your cholesterol is much higher than your doctor wants it to be, or you have multiple autoimmune conditions. So, kind of fill in the blank of what something hard, something challenging in your life might be. It could also be something from your past. For me, I used to struggle with my weight for decades. I also had a really challenging divorce and kind of a traumatic time around that. So, everyone, no matter how much on the surface they appear to be positive or thriving or have all their shit together. I don't know why I said shit so quietly. You could still hear it. I was trying to be a little bit tasteful. But I'm trying to bring a little bit of vulnerability and a little humor into this because we all have things that are challenging, but know that those don't mean something negative about us. And I know for me personally, for a long time, I thought, I don't even know if I was aware of this thought. It was just such an ingrained belief that my weight issues, and then even that my really challenging divorce and life transition, that I had done something wrong or that I was wrong on some level, even kind of flawed as a person. So that also is totally normal and natural. But number one, this is where we start. Know, or at least acknowledge the possibility, ladies, that the hard things don't mean something negative about you. You are inherently wonderful, love worthy, you are human, and that is a beautiful thing. So, number two, and it goes along with number one, is don't feel alone. Everyone thinks there's something wrong with them. And I'm air quoting the word wrong. So, everyone's got this. Again, even the people in our lives, we might see them on social media and oh my God, they're on the beach taking another vacation and they're wealthy and they're always looking perfect and polished and put together. But they too have something that they feel like is wrong with them. We're all human. So that thing you feel like might be wrong could be your past, your choices, their body, but don't feel alone because everyone has their baggage. Number three, acknowledge that old story. You might have a couple of old stories, but they all usually are connected in some way. Often there's kind of a core belief of I'm not good enough or I'm not smart enough, or, we can kind of identify those core beliefs, but we want to acknowledge that old story, the old beliefs, the old fears, the old events. So here we're taking a little time, and I even encourage you to either pause this and speak it out loud, spew out that old yucky story that is keeping you stuck, why you can't lose the weight or why you need to lose the weight. Is it someone from your past that's telling you you're not good enough? Or, why this happened to you or why you feel really upset about this thing. So acknowledge that old story, all those old beliefs and fears that are holding you back, get them out on paper or out loud. Number four, process that. So three and four are very similar. First, you acknowledge it. We've all got those old beliefs holding us back. And then we want to process that. We want to speak it or write about it and really feel those emotions. So sometimes our emotions really get stuck in our body. We don't like the feeling of negative emotion, of fear, of self-judgment, of acknowledging an old painful story of maybe we were made fun of in school and that really made an impression on us. We don't love talking about these things sometimes, but we've got to acknowledge and process those things and let those emotions out of your body. Literally, you've got to let them out of you so that you can let them go. You cannot let go of something that is stuck in your body or that you're clinging on to so tightly by kind of continuing to fuel those negative thoughts and believing them. So process that old story, feel those emotions. And then number five, and this is so powerful, so simple, but so challenging. Number five is then lose your fascination with it. Begin to let it go. Decide to stop telling that old story to both yourself and to others. So this can be really challenging. You know, I come from a family of psychologists and have had some wonderful therapists myself. And even in therapy, sometimes we are venting and rehashing the same old beliefs and narratives and old stories, and we're kind of just reinforcing them and reactivating those things. We're reactivating our own sympathetic nervous system, getting upset about things all over again. So this was a concept, the letting it go. Or losing your fascination with it. I love the phrasing of that because I feel like so often it's kind of part of our neuroses as human beings that we really are fascinated by our sad, challenging stories. We're kind of fascinated by these stories that allow us to be a victim. And that can be for many reasons, but it doesn't serve us. So, this losing your fascination with it, that verbalizing of it that way came from a book called The Big Leap by an author, Gay Hendricks. And this is a wonderful book. If you are ready to let go of your old limiting beliefs in a really powerful way, this book is a super quick read and really tells you exactly how to do that. So yeah, stop holding yourself back. Just let that old story go. And number 6, last but not least, decide on your new story and start to tell that. And I highly encourage you to make this a writing process, especially with number 6. So with number 4 and 6, and I'll recap each of those steps. But by deciding on your new story and starting to tell that now, we want you to be specific about it. That's why it's fun to write it down, because then you can get really kind of empowering and juicy and tell the story where you're the hero, why you are victorious, how you have gotten through these things, and how now you are rising up. You're focused on your health. You're focused on love. You're letting in all this abundance. You're feeling good in your body. Tell that story more often, even if only a little tiny ounce of you agrees with it or believes it. Even if you only believe it a little, the more you start to tell that, the more that becomes your narrative, the more empowered you are, the more you will thrive, and the more you will move forward, and just the better mood you'll be in. Like, how great does it feel to say what I just said, right? About like, oh, I'm feeling so good in my body. I feel strong. I feel relaxed. I feel like I've gone through so many amazing challenges in my past and I have grown so much. I feel so grateful for my body. I feel so grateful for where I am in my life. Like, just how good do those words feel to say? They feel amazing to say, I can tell you that. And I hope for you, they feel good to hear as well. So, let's recap our 6 steps to shift your mindset, get you unstuck, get you thriving. Number 1, know the hard things don't mean something negative about you. You, my friend, are amazing. Number 2, don't feel alone. Everyone thinks there's something wrong with them. Number 3, acknowledge your old story. We've all got it. Number 4, process that old story. Write about it, tell it, feel those juicy, crazy, hard to feel emotions. Let them out of your body. Let it out of your mind, that old story. Number 5, then lose your fascination with it. Begin to let it go. Decide to stop telling that old story to both yourself and others. And number 6, the most beautiful part of all, decide on your new story. Start to tell that now. So I want you to take a moment to breathe into this. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. Inhale through your nose. Sigh out your exhale. Inhaling this new possibility, this curiosity, this willingness to open up and change. And exhale, letting go, releasing that fascination with that old negative stuck story. So what's your new story? What do you want? What do you love? What's next? It's all there for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode today. I feel so honored that you're here with me, and I feel so honored to share this healing work that I'm so passionate about with you. Please reach out with any questions or comments. I'm always so interested to hear what you're working on. You can go to my website, sarahteeple.com, to book a free chat with me and tell me all about you. All right. Until next time. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, you can feel your best naturally. Just try one new thing a week that you learn here and watch your body and life transform. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, learn your dosha, get your personalized holistic plan, and live beautifully balanced, you've got to come see me at sarahteeple.com. That's SARAHTEEPLE.com. There you can learn about how to work with me one-on-one or book a free holistic chat and just tell me what you're working on. I love to hear from you and help you live your best life. So until next time, be well. Oh, and if you love this conversation, please rate and review our podcast. That really helps more people find natural healthcare options. Thanks again, and see you soon.